I'm delighted to be joined today by Alexander Downer, who is Australia's Minister for Foreign Affairs for a record-breaking 11 and a half years. Since 2014, he has been the Australian High Commissioner here in London. How quickly do you think the UK can enter into a free trade agreement with Australia?
Well, what delays negotiations on trade agreements is, not surprisingly, disagreement. And what causes disagreement is that one side wants to protect a particular industry, doesn't want to open up a particular market, wants to restrict access to a particular market. So the interlocutor may say, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to restrict your access to some other area of the economy. And these sort of negotiations can be tortuous and can take a long time. On the other hand, if you have the mindset that opening up, say, the Australian market is by definition good for Britain, and opening up the British market for Australia is also good for Britain, if you have that mindset, which means if you've done a degree in economics, you'll definitely know that's the case. If you have that mindset, then a free trade agreement can be very easy to negotiate. To paraphrase Theresa May, free trade means free trade. And if you say we're up for free trade, and Australia says we're up for free trade, then this won't take long. We negotiated a free trade agreement with the United States, the world's biggest economy, and it took us 15 months to negotiate. So, you know, it can be done if you want free trade.
Yeah. With the EU, though, the range and complexity of issues is much, much greater than it would be with Australia. If we have a transition agreement that only extends to December 2020, what do you think realistically are the prospects of actually negotiating a free trade agreement in a relatively short space of time?
Well, I think we'll be guided by what the British government says, and won't try to do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable. But as I understand it, their expectation is they will be able to negotiate a free trade agreement once they technically leave the EU after the 29th of March 2019. So negotiate it through the transitional phase. But I think unlikely that it would be able to come into force during the transitional phase, and I can't see how that would work. So it seems to us it could come into force once the transitional phase came to an end. That's got to be feasible. They should be able to do that. I don't think that's too problematic.
Good. Well, I hope your optimism is realised. Alexander, thank you for sparing the time to join us today, and thank you for your insights on what is a matter of vital national interest for the UK.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure.